Why aren't my tomatoes ripening? Can you help me with this weed? How much grass seed do I need to overseed my lawn? Folks, I've got answers to these questions and more coming up on Garden Sense. Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well, folks, I hope that everyone had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Oddly enough, despite the long holiday weekend, my inbox was still flooded with emails from all of you with a broad range of questions. But that's okay. That's exactly why we're here. So we actually selected 4 emails from this past weekend that we want to address here on this week's video podcast. So buckle up, everybody. Let's jump right in. The first question for today is from Sandra. Tim, love your weekly clips. I planted a tomato in a large pot on my patio. It has worked great for years, except this year. I now have over 12 good-sized tomatoes looking healthy and continuing to grow, but they're all still green. Have fed them with garden truss and have kept them watered in this summer heat, but they won't ripen. A couple of friends have had the same problem. Is it the heat, the drenching rains we've had, as well as days of total dry weather? Help! So this is almost definitely a result of the heat that you guys have been experiencing. Once temperatures are consistently above 85 degrees, and some of you have been experiencing weather that is even hotter than that, it actually is going to stunt the ripening process of the tomatoes. See, once temps reach above 85 degrees, tomatoes stop producing carotene and lycopene, which are 2 pigments that are needed for the ripening process. So basically what's happening is it's been so hot, the plant has just said, nope, we're not going to do it. And they're just going to sit there green until those temperatures, start to come down. Now, the good news is we are in September, so we should start getting some cooler days coming our way. You can also speed up that process a little bit by trying to remove those plants from the intense heat of the sun during the day. So if you can, cover them somehow, get them under some shade, that should help a little bit. But again, if the temperatures have been over 90 degrees, which I know in many areas they have been that way for weeks, it's going to be a little bit longer of a process. But stay patient. You just have to wait it out. Make sure that you're keeping them healthy in every way that you've been doing for years, and just wait for this heat to really start to drop down, and then you should see those tomatoes start to ripen. The next question is from Martin. Tim, how much grass seed do I need to overseed 1,500 feet? Okay, so assuming that you are using Barenberg Turf Saver, the RTF grass seed, for overseeding, you need 4 to 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. You have a 1,500 square foot lawn, so you're going to need anywhere between 6 and 7.5 pounds of grass seed to successfully overseed that area. Now, the good news is, over at rosensonline.com, we sell both 5 and 10 pound bags. So head over to Rosens Online, pick up one of those smaller bags of grass seed, and again, you want to make sure that you're putting down between 6 and 7.5 pounds of grass seed during the overseeding process. The third question is from Bob. Tim, my lawn guy has named this obtrusive weed Japanese grass. It has a very thin stalk and long leaves and seems to grow in the flower beds and anywhere it can get to the soil. How can I stop it? Thanks for reaching out, Bob. So you did not send in a picture, but up on the screen here is a picture of Japanese stilt grass. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. It's a very prevalent weed, and frankly, it's not the easiest to contain. The good news is it's not impossible. Now, what we actually recommend is Image All-in-One Weed Killer. Believe it or not, this actually lists Japanese stilt grass as one of the weeds that it can kill. So I would head over to rosensonline.com and pick up a bottle of Image. We just got in a shipment last week, so we should have plenty. I don't know how large of an area you're talking, but what I do want to caution you about is using the Image in your flower beds. Look, if it's in your flower beds, there's not a whole lot you can do. You're going to have to pull it out by hand. But if it's out in your lawn, you can absolutely use Image because Image is safe for your grass. The final question for today is from Krista. Tim, my yard has been taken over by these weeds. Can you please recommend a product for these? Will the product kill it completely, or do I need to dig it up? Hi Krista, and thank you for sending in pictures. This is hairy crabgrass, and it is a very, very common type of crabgrass, and frankly, there are a number of products out there that will kill it, but we actually recommend the same product I just recommended in the previous question, Image All-in-One Weed Killer. This is a very effective product at killing a broad range of broadleaf weeds and grassy weeds like crabgrass. So head over to Rosen's Online and you can pick up Image All-in-One Weed Killer. That would definitely be the product I would recommend. Although you could also try a product that we do carry called Crab-E-Rad. This is also very effective against crabgrasses, and obviously a hairy crabgrass is going to be listed on there as well. Both products will work. All right, everybody, just a couple final thoughts before we wrap up this week's video podcast. Folks, I've had a number of emails this past week, and really the last 2 weeks since we launched that overseeding video a couple of weeks ago, about which weed killer to use. Some of you have your favorite weed killer and you're asking me, hey, can I swap out Image All-in-One for this other weed killer? Look, you can absolutely do that. Here's the thing. First, you have to make sure that it's a concentrate and that you can put it in a pump sprayer. At that point, you just need to understand how much of that weed killer you can use per gallon of water. Because if you remember, you want to take 1 gallon of water, 1 ounce of wilt proof, and then whatever ounces you require with this other type of weed killer. We prefer Image All-in-One. We think it's the best weed killer on the market right now, and so that's why we are recommending that. But if you want to swap that out for one of your own or a preferred weed killer, you can absolutely do that. Just make sure that you put in the correct amount of ounces per 1 gallon of water, and you should have the exact same results that you're looking for. Now, folks, I know I've been talking a lot about all of these emails that have been coming in these last couple of weeks, and I've just been inundated with them, and that's okay. Other than the fact that I'm not getting back to you as quickly as I would like to, please keep sending them in. Folks, you are the reason that we're able to produce this video podcast each and every week. And the answers that we give you, we see that you are trusting the responses that you're getting because you're going out and you're purchasing the products from our website that we recommend, and we really appreciate that. So if you have a question about your lawn, about your garden, about your potted plants, whatever it is, make sure that you send them directly to me, tim@rosensonline.com. Like I said, I have not been getting back to these as quickly as I normally do. Usually it's, 48 hours or so. Unfortunately, because of the sheer volume, and I'm talking hundreds of emails that are coming through, I'm more like 4 or 5 days at this point. But I do promise you that if I receive it, you are guaranteed to get a response from me. So send an email to me, tim@rosensonline.com. Folks, as always, we really appreciate the time that you're spending with us, and we hope that you had a wonderful Labor Day weekend this past weekend. We hope the weather turns nice and you can get outside and work in your lawns and in your gardens this coming weekend. God bless.